Strong Brazilian connection at Arsenal, especially where Edu is at the boardroom level. They've had so many illustrious Brazilian players over the years wearing Arsenal colours. And now we prepare to get started. 5:30 kickoff, ink black skies overhead. I pulled up at the car park earlier on, it was teeming down in rain, and I was thinking, Tony Pulis, it never rains at the Amex, it's always dry, and there we go, by kickoff it's bone dry.
But look at the pitch, you know, the pitch is absolutely fantastic. When you think we're turning the year, what football used to be like at this time, you'd have a diamond shape of all mud on a football pitch. You can't see a bit of mud now. It's just fantastic.
I would imagine your playing days, your legs were seldom clean at this time of the year. I mean, no shower is going to get that mud off.
I used to like the mud. It used to slow everybody down.
Dragging Tony Pulis through the mud on 5 Live as we prepare for Brighton against Arsenal. And what an opportunity for Mikel Arteta. We have had pretenders to the crown over the years, but Arsenal increasingly, Tony, they look the real deal.
Well, they've got great balance. As I've said before, that you know, the balance of the side looks so good. You know, physically they're strong, they look a powerful team, they got pace in the right areas, and they do play some wonderful football at times. It should be a wonderful game today.
Yeah, there's some delay just at the kick-off. It's to do with the officials. I'm not quite sure. I know there's been issues with the communication equipment elsewhere today, but we're about to get started. Anthony Taylor is the referee. Brighton Hove Albion in their blue and white stripes will play from left to right. Arsenal get us started. They're in the change kit wearing all black. Aaron Ramsey pumps it forward towards the edge of the Brighton penalty area, where Estupiñán, the Ecuadorian, is there to head the ball away, and Arsenal will get it back again on the halfway line. With this opportunity comes expectation, with expectation comes pressure, and it's going to be intriguing to see how Arsenal cope with this, and can they continue to cope with pressure as they have done so well already this season.
Just looking at trying to work out the way Brighton are trying to set up, it looks as though they're going to start with, you know, the back four, and then in midfield it's just working out well. Alana and Gross will end up when they get the ball and when they haven't got the ball.
Yes, they've got Billy Gilmore making his first Premier League start, Brighton, as Odegaard breaks into the penalty area. What a run this is, and just as he tried to release it to Xhaka, Tariq Lamptey nipped in and won it off him, but he made up 35 yards with the ball at his feet there, Odegaard, and now Martinelli picks it up into the penalty area, shoots it low, comes off Lewis Dunk, Saka will pick up the rebound and score! Oops. And 1 minute into the game, Arsenal take the lead on the day that Manchester City and Newcastle, the two teams below them in the table, have dropped points. Arsenal are up and running already, and it's Saka's goal. Brighton 0, Arsenal 1.
Yeah, it's from the first real turnover where Brighton have got a little bit stretched. They take the ball off them, and then the quality here. Little bit of luck with two rebounds really, and then when it drops to him, he finishes it with a plumb really.
You mentioned that Tariq Lamptey had intercepted and was taking the ball out of the back. He lost it 10 yards outside the penalty area, and Arsenal simply ruthless in how they pounced upon the opportunity. Saka one touch to control it, and then almost side-footed it into the net.
Yeah, great finish. But again, you know, it's against the top teams. You really have to be careful in the middle of the pitch when you're bringing the ball out, because if you turn it over, you leave yourself so open and so vulnerable. And Arsenal are a top team now.
Bukayo Saka with that goal equals Nicolas Anelka as the player aged 21 or under to have scored the most Premier League goals for Arsenal. What a player he is becoming. 3 goals in his 4 appearances at the World Cup. He only turned 21 in September.
Yeah, it's amazing really.
He's on the ball at the moment. Right wing for Arsenal, showing good body strength to hold off the challenge. And Arsenal been bossing the early stages here, but not 3 minutes on the clock yet. Brighton's difficult task today has become even more difficult.
Yeah, they need to settle down, need to get themselves into the game and have 5 minutes, if they possibly can, of trying to get the ball and play from there.
Whenever this season, when Arsenal have scored the opening goal in a Premier League game, they have never lost once they have drawn, and on the other 11 occasions they have gone on to win. Roberto De Zerbi, who had barely settled into his technical area for kick-off, suddenly the prospect is to try and come from behind against the league leaders. As things stand in the Premier League, Arsenal 7 points clear at the top. Here is Zinchenko, the one change in Mikel Arteta's team today. In for Kieran Tierney. Arsenal have it on the left. Martinelli, who was involved in the build-up to the goal, plays it to Eddie Nketiah, close to the byline. Left-hand side as Arsenal come forward. Martinelli, low ball in. Zinchenko turns brilliantly, and Robert Sanchez has to come out and make a save for a corner. Brilliant swivel by Zinchenko, who's looking for his first goal for Arsenal.
Again, really, really bright 1-2 touch football, playing through the pitch. The keeper's made a good save then.
And again, it is an early goal in a game involving these two, and Brighton and Arsenal have been the two teams in the Premier League who've scored the most goals in the opening 15 minutes of matches this season. On this occasion, it is Arsenal who have taken the lead at the Amex. 5 Live and BBC Sounds. This is the Premier League.
The referees tend to stop at corners. They go in and have a chat with people, but they never ever give penalties for pushing or shoving.
Corner is taken short. Martinelli tries to play it in, blocked by Estupiñán. Brighton need to get it out here. Trossard just outside his own penalty area, can't get around Zinchenko, and this is a problem for Brighton. They are finding it incredibly difficult to clear their lines, and the hunger of Arsenal is making it so difficult for their hosts. Brighton Hove Albion 0, Arsenal 1. Bukayo Saka's early goal. Odegaard has possession on the halfway line. This is beginning very well for Mikel Arteta. Gabriel turns under pressure from Trossard and rolls it back to the goalkeeper Ramsdale, away to our right hand side, wearing a sort of a teal green. His long clearance straight down the centre is flicked backwards by Lewis Dunk, and back to the goalkeeper Sanchez once again. So Arsenal, who just appeared to be such a well-oiled machine, everyone knows their place. It's become such a settled side too, and with the obvious exception of Gabriel Jesus, who's injured at the moment, and Eddie Nketiah, who's come in like for like to take that position. Everything else looks so familiar for Arsenal. Here come Brighton over the halfway line. Really the first time in the game they've had possession. Lallana tries to put it in front of Mitoma, and beating him in the sprint race there was Ben White to help it back to Ramsdale, who clears the ball away. We mentioned the tiny margins in football. Mitoma knows all about it. He was the Japanese player, you might remember, just about kept the ball in play for that goal against Spain that knocked Germany out of the World Cup. It seems such a long time ago now. Here's Odegaard breaking through the middle of the midfield. Arsenal finding space in the Brighton half again. Martinelli tries to shoot, Lamptey makes the block, and the loose ball falls for Pascal Gross, who should be able to clear. Tony Pulis.
Yeah, every time there's a changeover, Arsenal are playing 1-2 touch football through the pitch. It's absolutely fantastic, really. They've had 3 opportunities where Martinelli has had one-on-one with Lamptey, and Lamptey's done really, really well, really, to stop him from either shooting or crossing the ball.
Brighton have been a bit of a bogey team for Mikel Arteta in his managerial career. 3 times he's been beaten by them. Well, this has been a very solid start, and if you're just joining our coverage here, draws today for second place Manchester City and third place Newcastle. They've presented Arsenal with a big opportunity, and so far they're taking it, leading by a goal to 0 here at the Amex. Partey has the ball inside the centre circle, gives it to Granit Xhaka, quickly onto Martinelli, left wing, bearing down on the penalty area. Lamptey reversing away from him, low ball into the feet of Xhaka, helps it onto Nketiah, turns and shoots wide, but effortless from Arsenal to get into the position, and Nketiah disappointed not to hit the target.
Again, Connor, it's great football. There's no backward square sidewards and slowing it down. They are playing some fantastic football through the pitch.
We've seen some great Arsenal teams over the years, particularly the Arsene Wenger era, but this team are very easy on the eye.
Well, you have a look at them. We were talking about it when they lined up as well. They look a powerful team. They've got good size. Technically they're excellent, and they have got real good pace, and they break with pace. And as I've said before, Partey, for me, he keeps everything together in midfield. He's been a really, really good player for Arsenal this year.
Gabriel retreats to the edge of his own penalty area, rolls it into Ramsdale. Short ball to Partey in the midfield. Such is the confidence of the Arsenal players. They are very comfortable playing it to a teammate who has been closely marked. They trust each other to wriggle out of tight corners, as Zinchenko's going to try and do here. Gives it into Xhaka. Xhaka hooks it away over his shoulder. Nketiah wins the flick-on header, but Dunk is well positioned for Brighton, and the hosts regain the lead. Brighton 0, Arsenal 1. 5 Live at the Amex. This 5:30 game, the final Premier League fixture of 2022. Arsenal were involved in the first game of the calendar year. They were beaten by Manchester City, but There's been so much water under the bridge since, and Arsenal really a team that have been transformed in that time. Gross goes long, looking for Trossard, but comfortably in front of him was William Saliba, who turns, and nothing fancy, just puts another play out into the Brighton fans on the far side. Throw into Brighton.
Yeah, for the next 5 minutes it'd be nice for Brighton to stay in Arsenal's half, just to take the steam out of the game and take the steam out of them, because they have started really, really brightly here tonight.
Brighton have won 3 of their last 4 games. They've only had 1 home league win so far under Roberto De Zerbi, and that was when former boss Graham Potter came here with Chelsea in October, and Brighton won by 4 goals to 1. Their other 3 home matches, they've only had 1 point for them since Roberto De Zerbi's arrival. Here is Lewis Dunk. Remember, Brighton missing some big players today. Moises Caicedo suspended. The Ecuadorian had started every Premier League game so far this season before today. Alexis McAllister still off celebrating the World Cup. I don't know if you heard it earlier on, Tony, but the Tannoy announcer at the Amex, this is not a joke, he said, he said, if anyone's got Alexis McAllister's number, could they hand it in, please? They're having trouble tracking him down.
Well, after the World Cup he had, who blames him? Who blames him for having a couple of weeks off?
This is Tariq Lamptey, right-hand side of the midfield, midway inside Arsenal territory. Brighton playing to left to right as we look down, held back by Solly March into the midfield. Better now, 1-touch stuff from Brighton, but they're only beginning to find their groove, and they've already found themselves 1 goal down. Levi Colwill, who's settled in well, still a teenager, just his 5th Premier League appearance from Brighton on loan from Chelsea. And Lewis Dunk gives it back to Colwill once again. Colwill, who started against Arsenal in the League Cup, the game that Brighton won at the Emirates not so long ago. Lamptey again, forward from Billy Gilmore. Now Lallana will turn, but challenging him immediately is Gabriel. Gilmore picks up the loose ball again, pings it over to the left-hand side, where Mitoma, furiously sprinting backwards, manages to control it well. Under pressure from Saka, Brighton hold on to the ball, but they must retreat back inside their own half once again. Colwill will now bring it over the halfway line once more, supported by Lewis Dunk on the right-hand side. Dunk, who scored against Arsenal twice in the last 5 seasons. Solly March, back to Dunk once again. Brighton seeing more of the ball, but struggling really to break in to Arsenal territory very far.
Yeah, there's a lot of play in the middle of the pitch at the moment. I don't think they've actually broke into Arsenal's final third yet, Connor.
Well, there's been a few back passes to Ramsdale, but nothing for him to be concerned about in the game so far. You'll have heard the news earlier on today. Manchester United beat Wolves by a goal to 0 at Molineux. That was the 12:30 game. Marcus Rashford, who was disciplined for oversleeping. I'm sure, Tony, in your managerial career
I've had a few of them.
deal with that from time to time. But to be fair to Rashford, he responded in the right way, came off the bench to grab the winner.
What a change in character there from last year to what it is now, Connor, with Rashford.
Yes. And in your broadcasting career, Tony, you'd never have had a commentator sleep out, of course. Always,
yeah,
so time efficient.
I can't believe that Deno's never ever been late.
We might have to do a VAR on that, actually. Fact check that on the BBC. We don't like to give out incorrect information.
Did you say fact or fact?
No, that is harsh. New Year's Eve or not, I won't have that. I'll stand up for Deno on that one. Brighton 0, Arsenal 1. Great to have Tony Pulis alongside us for this final league game of the calendar year. It started well for the league leaders. Saka's early goal is Arsenal in front. This is Lewis Dunk just outside his own penalty area, gives it to Lallana with the beard.
See, there's a lot of space. Arsenal are pushing right up, and there's not one Brighton player really looking to
mistake
turn it
by
round.
Saliba. Trossard tries to get in. Saliba recovered so well, but Solly March will pick up the loose ball, tries to shoot, blocked by Gabriel. Arsenal get it back again. Lallana hustles though, regains possession. It's been much better for Brighton over the past few minutes. Arsenal had a purple patch, but now it's more even.
If they can just get runners in behind, Arsenal leaving a lot of space in behind them, but Brighton players are still tending to come to the ball. If you look at it now, the front 3 are coming to the ball, where the space is really behind the back line. If they could get just a couple of setups and get runners in, they'd get more joy.
Mitoma has it on the left-hand side. Brighton with Sanchez in goal, Lamptey, Dunk, Colwill and Estupiñán the back 4. In the middle of the midfield, Lallana, Gilmore, Gross. Mitoma's on the left, March is on the right, and Leandro Trossard is leading the line up front. No Danny Welbeck, who I'm sure would have enjoyed playing against his old club, but he's got a muscular injury at the moment. The Arsenal team, Ramsdale the goalkeeper, Ben White, former Brighton player, up against his old team. Saliba and Gabriel in the middle. Zinchenko left back. That's the one change from the win over West Ham on Boxing Day. Zinchenko in for Tierney. In the midfield, Xhaka and Partey and Odegaard, with Martinelli left, Saka, who has got the early goal here on the right, and Eddie Nketiah leading the line up front. He scored against Brighton in that League Cup game last month, Eddie Nketiah. Brighton have possession of the back. Colwell will turn and roll it back to the goalkeeper, Robert Sanchez, once again. We've got commentary of Tottenham against Aston Villa tomorrow on 5 Live. That is at 2 o'clock, and that'll be followed by Nottingham Forest against Chelsea. That is the 4:30 start. Xhaka has possession, bang on the halfway line, gives it out to the right-hand side to Saka, and then Ben White will come back inside his own half, rolls it through Gabriel and all the way back to Ramsdale once again. Down in the technical area in front of us, Mikel Arteta, always quite animated even if his team are in front. He looks a little bit on edge at all times, and the whistle has been blown. And what's that for? Free kick anyway to Brighton.
I think he's given handball.
Right, against Nketiah. So Saka's early goal. Brighton 0, Arsenal 1. Brighton nearly losing possession. Lamptey gets it back again. It's Saka's 7th goal of the season in all competitions for his club. Here's Gilmour. Johnny Gilmour, who, when he first came through at Chelsea, he seemed to have the world at his feet. He was only a teenager, and it's been a little curve of a learning curve for him in the last, say, 18 months or so, Tony.
Yeah, he needs games. He needs more games. That's the first time they've run behind the Arsenal back line.
Down the right-hand side, pulls it for Lallana, tees up Trossard. His shot was bending, but it set off too wide of the target, and it was finger-tipped away anyway by Ramsdale, who wasn't sure. It was going wide, but Ramsdale has pushed it out for a corner. Better for Brighton.
Yeah, better in respect. They get the setups, and then they've got to run it in behind the back four. Lamptey does brilliant. He gets in there, he gets a cross in, and a little bit unfortunate.
Brighton 0.
Yeah, Ramsdale touch it. He does touch it.
Arsenal 1. Corner will be taken on the left-hand side as Brighton come forward. Their first attacking set piece of the game. And Arsenal brought everyone back into the penalty area to defend it. Evidence of a bit of wind as we can see the corner flag swirling around. An in-swinger is headed away at the front post by Eddie Nketiah. And the referee blows the whistle, and it's going to be corner again. Now, why is that? That's a strange one. Corner will be retaken. Why was that? Maybe the referee was still sorting out some pushing and shoving, and he hadn't given the notice for Pascal Gross to play it in, but you don't see that very often. Anyway, take 2 from the corner flag. Pascal Gross waits, much jostling for position in the middle. He drills it in low and hard. It's flicked up on the front post, but a way out for a third corner in very quick succession. Corner for Brighton again. Tony.
Yeah, I'm just trying to work out whether Arsenal have gone man for man or whether they're zonal. Obviously, they've got 2 or 3 zonal players, but whether the rest are picking up man for man.
Dunk has come forward. Hasn't scored this season yet. Lewis Dunk. Gross is held up again from taking the corner because all sorts of pushing and shoving. March ended up down on his knees in a tangle against Martin Odegaard, and I think Anthony Taylor's trying to sort of lay down the law earlier so this doesn't become a problem in the game, but in doing so he's been quite pedantic, and it's kind of becoming a problem in the here and now. This is taking too long for these corners to be taken at the moment. Odegaard and March continue to mark each other. Right, here we go. Corner played in by Gross, higher delivery. Ramsdale missed it and headed by Saliba off the goal line and away. Throw into Brighton.
That was a great defensive header because that was going in. Ramsdale has missed it completely.
Throw into Brighton, which Tariq Lamptey will take on the right hand side. Brighton have woken up into this game, but after a sleepy start in which they conceded right at the beginning of the match. Lamptey's throw into the penalty area is comfortably headed away by Gabriel. Straight to Billy Gilmour, though. Brighton get it back again. Gilmour, who's making his first Premier League start for Brighton and Hove Albion. Dunk on the halfway line, rolls it to his left to Colwell, another with Chelsea connections in the past. And now is Stupian, who played under the former Arsenal manager Unai Emery at Villarreal at the past. He brings it into the centre circle, and when everyone backs away from him, he just keeps going. And then tries to play it out to Mitoma, but can't find the pass, and Arsenal get it back again. Brighton fans thought there was a handball. Play on, says the referee. Roberto De Zerbi literally hopping mad as he jumps up and down in front of us and sees his team have to retreat back. Saka on the prowl, down the right wing, bearing in towards the penalty area now. Gets it on his left boot, swings it in, but Caldwell is well positioned. Corner edge of the 6-yard box, clears it away to Matoma, who with good energy will bring it over the halfway line. This is a great run by Matoma. 40, 50, 60 yards he's made up now. Rolls it in front of Trossard, but a poor pass at the end of it all. Too far in front of the Belgian. It was a great break by Matoma, but he needed more composure with the pass.
Yeah, very much so. But a great run from Saka on the other side as well. When White turned her over, he's dribbled past two players, and the space is behind. And what I'm just saying, it's knowing where the space is and then exploiting that space. And with Sacco's pace, Martinelli's pace, you'll watch it today. They will definitely threaten them in behind most times. Most times.
Saka and Martinelli on the side of Nketiah in the Arsenal attack. Brighton and Hove Albion 0, Arsenal 1. We have played 20 minutes now, and as things stand, Mikel Arteta's team will be opening up a 7-point gap at the top of the league after City and Newcastle both drop points today. Here's Nketiah attacking the edge of the penalty area, feeds Martinelli on the left hand side. He's inside the box, gives it back to Granit Xhaka, patient, waits for the support of Zinchenko. Now a low ball into Odegaard. Arsenal are able to find these passes inside the penalty area, and De Zerbi must be going crazy as to how his team aren't making more interceptions here, but that's the quality of Arsenal's passing. Martinelli crossing position on the left hand side, low ball again to Odegaard.
Goodness.
What a great ball, and he nutmegged the defender to give it back to Martinelli, and somehow Arsenal don't score. That was genius from Odegaard.
Oh, it was absolutely fantastic. He touched the ball forward and then dragged it back and then played a wonderful ball back to Martinelli. It's absolutely fantastic football.
He is a joy to watch, Odegaard. I mean, he was the child prodigy when he first broke through, and Real Madrid paid all that money for him when he was just 15 years of age. But what I love about Odegaard, he's got all the skills, Tony. He knows when to use them. It's never unnecessary.
He looks a very, very good player.
Here is Martinelli trying to get it into a shooting position. Lamptey sort of shadow boxing in front of him to deny that space. Gabriel is up helping out the attack, and he's got Zinchenko in space on the left hand side. Brighton can't get a touch at the moment. They had a good spell there for 5 minutes or so, but Arsenal are back in their groove once again. Gabriel to Granit Xhaka. Back to Gabriel, who'll run back into his own half, and he'll roll it to the goalkeeper, Ramsdale, away to our right hand side. Brighton 0, Saka 1. The goal came very early. First proper attempt of the match. Ramsdale, 10 yards outside his penalty area, goes long, trying to pump it in front of Martinelli, but it bounces away and out for a throw into Brighton.
Yeah, they mix it up well, Arsenal. They've got runners in behind, willing runners behind. When they get the ball into Brighton's half, and the space then is in front and around players, they're passing and moving. They're 1 and 2 touch passing and movement, and it's absolutely first class.
Good to see that opportunity again when Odegaard's nutmeg almost became an assist for Martinelli, and it was just saved away by the goalkeeper. Brighton, who started the day in 7th, even if they were to lose here, it would still be their highest ever position at the end of a calendar year. And that's not, one of these Premier League era stats. That is of all time. The previous highest Brighton have ever been up the pyramid at the turn of the year was 9th place back in the early 80s. And they ended up finishing 13th that year, the 81-82 season. They will be eyeing up, not mid-table, but the European places, Brighton, the way things have been going. They've got Liverpool, Manchester United, Tottenham, the teams directly above them. Here is Martinelli, 10 yards outside the D, gives it to Odegaard. This time he's outnumbered. Good work by Estupiñán to win it off the Norwegian. Lallana tries to counter-attack, but he is pickpocketed by Zinchenko, and Saka's going to be in again. There's no flag. Bukayo Saka unselfishly tried to cross, and Dunk was able to intercept. Many might have taken on the shot themselves. Saka tried not to be greedy, let off for Brighton.
Yeah, they've got to be very, very careful, bringing the ball out from their back line. Because that's the second or third time, Connor, they've got caught. Arsenal have taken the ball off them, and with one pass, they're either shooting or crossing the face of the goal. They don't look so dangerous, Arsenal.
So the corner will come in from the far side as we look down. Saka to take it. Left-footed player, so it'll be in-swinging. Kicks away a few empty plastic bottles which have been chucked in that direction. Just replaces the ball again. He's like a golfer lining himself up for a putt. Again, it's very congested in and around the 6-yard box as the ball comes in, flat by the goalkeeper Sanchez. It's headed straight up in the air, comes down for Partey, who should have scored. He's put it high and he's put it wide. Thomas Partey, 2 Premier League goals this season. What a chance to score there.
I think it took a deflection, and it's another corner for Arsenal. But again, the quality that's going in is absolutely, they've been very, very good, Arsenal. Brighton have got the little spell, but apart from that little spell, they've been really and truly dominated by this Arsenal team.
Partey's shot was deflected out, so it is this Arsenal corner which Martinelli is getting ready to take. On the left-hand side as his team come forward, plays it towards the back post. Sanchez comes again, gets a fingertip to it. It was enough to nudge it away, and now Mitoma will pick it up and runs at Saka. And that's going to be a good battle today when those two come up against each other in a sprint. Gross picks out Estupiñán on the left-hand side. Brighton get up to the halfway line. That's not a good pass from Estupiñán. He's very fortunate not to have given it away there. And fortunately for him, it rolls to Trossard. Through ball to Solly March. Attacking the edge of the penalty area. Into the box against Zinchenko. Low ball in. There's no one at the back post. Poor clearance. Comes to Gross again. Now Trossard. He shoots. And it's touched over the top. This is turning into a very good game now. Arsenal scored early, but both teams are in it now. 25 minutes played. Brighton 0, Arsenal 1.
Again, Brighton have exposed the space in behind Arsenal's back four, and that's what they've got to keep doing. They've got to get little setups and runners, because there's loads of space between the full-backs and the centre halves.
So the Brighton corner will be taken by Solly March. He scored at Southampton on Monday last time out. That was his first Premier League goal in over 2 years for Solly March. He's got a lot to aim for here at the moment. His Brighton teammates are all huddled around the back post area. I'm sure there'll be movement as it comes in. Here it is from Solly March towards the back post, headed away by Saliba. Saka tries to continue the clearance, but it's picked up by Billy Gilmour, and Brighton will remain on the attack. Lamptey has it, long sleeves and the gloves, gives it to Solly March midway inside the Arsenal half. Eddie Nketiah applies a bit of pressure on him and sends Brighton back into their own half again, and a few groans around the place as Brighton retreat to the goalkeeper. And the Brighton Hove Albion fans want to see a bit more ambition maybe from their team as they look to get back into this game. Billy Gilmour has it, centre circle for Brighton. The £9 million signing from Chelsea in the summer, had that loan spell at Norwich last season. This is Mitoma. Ball in field to Trossard, whose goal-scoring record has been very good this season, but the flag is raised and Trossard was offside.
I think Arteta shouted so loud then the linesman's flag went up.
Mikel Arteta with the hands plunged in the pockets of his tight-fitting trousers down below us, the very shiny black leather shoes, and it's a more casual approach from Roberto De Zerbi, who's got the tracksuit on today, the hoodie top, the white trainers down there in the technical area in front of us. We've got a very good view of the technical area in our commentary position here at the Amex. We're just behind the bench. You can see substitutes from both teams warming up down below us. Ball bounced awkwardly off the knee of Zinchenko, so he couldn't control it. And then Gabriel went in a bit firm in Lallana, and there was an afters between the two of them as well. Lallana, using all his experience, accidentally on purpose running into Gabriel in the aftermath, and free kick it is. He was trying to get a rise out of the defender there, was the experienced Lallana. Free kick taken by Lewis Dunk, trying to find Trossard. Arsenal get it back again. Xhaka, neat and tidy down for Partey. Those two really have been on each other's wavelength this season. This is Ben White. Back to Saliba. And Arsenal trying to get into a fluid mode once again, as Eddie Nketiah drops deep with the red boots. Plays it to Zinchenko. First time up to Granit Xhaka. Out to the left wing to Martinelli. He's been keeping Lamptey very busy out on that flank. A 1-2 with Granit Xhaka. Martinelli with the green boots again. Makes a burst for the byline. We know that Lamptey's really, really fast. And that's excellent from Lamptey. Nips in. Just stretches out a boot and frustrates Martinelli and wins it back for his team.
Great defending from the kid. Martinelli's a handful. I just wish he'd use that left foot. Keeps coming in on his right foot. He could just go outside once, even once, and use that left foot. Then Lamptey would have something to think about. But he's defended really well there, fullback.
21 years of age now. Gabriel Martinelli did get 3 appearances for Brazil at the World Cup, but do you reckon, Tony, there's still a bit of improvement to come
just
from
a little bit. Yeah, he looks a top player.
Here comes Gilmore through the midfield. Bit of space there for once in the game. That's been a rarity as Stupien helps it onto Mitoma. I feel like Brighton might get the Japanese player involved a little bit more. This is Gilmore again. Low ball to the feet of Trossard. Back to Gilmore. Good lower body strength to hold off Saka. Now is Stupien's cross too close to the goalkeeper. It's a decent build-up up until the delivery, but Brighton come away without troubling Ramsdale at all again. Long clearance down the middle, and floundering was Duncan. He's relieved to hear that whistle, because Nketiah would have been away there. But the whistle gives the free kick.
Arteta's gone mad.
Fourth official is Jared Gillett down there, and he is receiving an earful at the moment, and members of the backroom staff as well down there having their say. That is Macatelli.
That's one thing I know how he feels. poor old fourth official.
That's the voice of Tony Pulis, who never complained to a fourth official in his managerial career. With us here at 5-5, chance for Martinelli, but Lamptey gets there first. It was a low ball in by Saka. Martinelli attacked it well tracked by the defender Lamptey, though. Brighton are going to try and play their way out here. Gilmore to Lamptey. He really played that pass with a lot of pace to Lamptey. Difficult to control it, and Arsenal get it back again. So Zinchenko just inside his own half, back to Gabriel, and in turn all the way back to the goalkeeper, Ramsdale once again. So the scorelines from earlier on, if you missed them, Manchester United won away at Wolves. Palace beat Bournemouth by 2-0. Difficult spell for Southampton, with Fulham beating them by 2-1 at Craven Cottage. There was a draw at the Etihad. Manchester City won, Everton won. Big result for Frank Lampard. Good result for Arsenal, that one. And it was also a draw for the team that started the day in third. Newcastle 0, Leeds 0 at St James's Park. So the teams in second and third both dropping points today, and that's what has made this match extra special for Arsenal. And so far, Mikel Arteta's team are taking their chance. Arteta's still complaining to the fourth official down in front of us. Colwell will bring the ball up to the halfway line. Tall, athletically built player, doesn't look like a teenager. Gilmore will play it forward with a bit of backspin, but not enough, as it trundles away from Trossard and through to Ramsdale to our right. Tony.
Yeah, at least they're looking now, Brighton, to expose the spaces in behind Arsenal's back line, and I think that's really where they're going to have their best results if they can do that, because Arsenal drop in and make it really, really tight when Brighton keep the ball and pass the ball around. They're quite happy for them to play in front. They struggle a little bit when they turn them.
Nketiah went down there. Arsenal thought they should have had a free kick. Anthony Taylor waved play on. Ben White wins it back. Ooh, that was a little bit of a high-risk back pass. I don't think he realised Trossard was so close to Ramsdale. Ramsdale one touch to control and did well to clear the ball away. But it's just a little moment like that could undo, I should say, a lot of Arsenal's good work today.
Yeah. What I'd like to see, Conor, is really a few more end products from Brighton. When they have got the ball and they are playing through the pitch, they can just get further up the field, get some more crosses in, or play little 1-2s with runners and just get some more end products.
They don't have a recognised number 9 today, Brighton. Trossard's almost the sort of false 9 role. Lallana's trying to get forward, but it might be a different story if they had the likes of Welbeck as a target in there today, after putting a bit more pressure on Gabriel and Saliba, the two Arsenal central defenders. Here's Gross to Stupien. Now can he deliver the cross here? Well challenged. Ben White, but referee says White was over rigorous and that he's fouled Stupien, and that's going to be a free kick to Brighton. Crossing position on the left hand side, and Ben White is giving away the foul against his old team. Just late, wasn't he?
Yeah, he got there as quickly as he could. Just missed the ball. It's a good decision from the referee.
Ben White, who has started every
he's not
Premier League game this season.
He's given the throw in.
Well, that is bizarre. Throw in to Brighton instead of the free kick, which is of course nowhere near as threatening. White, who's been recreated as a fullback this season, and what a good transition that has proved to be so far. You'd wonder to know the story of how that happened. You're in a training session. Maybe this works, and then suddenly that's his position. I won't be changing it in a hurry. That three of Gabriel, Saliba and White have been very good this season, and then obviously you've got Zinchenko and Tierney, who are two quality left-sided players.
Well, when you look at the team, you start, the goalkeeper ain't bad neither. You've got two holding midfield players who can pass it, competitive. You've got a number 10 who's absolutely fantastic. Has been fantastic this year.
Picks up a ball, but he's in an offside position, so it's not going to count.
And then you've got the two young centre forwards up there, whichever one. Jesus is injured at the moment, and Taki is top player. The thing I like about him is the two wide players. I think the wide players are fabulous. They're always looking to take people on. They're always looking to threaten them in behind. They're just fabulous. For their positions, it's everything you want as a manager.
History tells us that to win the league, you need more than just a very good starting 11. You need the depth, and they've been lucky this season. Every team has injuries, and they've had a few, and they've Jesus at the moment. But in the main, the core of the team has stayed fit.
But you usually find, Connor, successful teams don't change very much. The players tend to stay fit. So when you're losing a few games, the players get injured.
Mikel Arteta has had very few opportunities to think, well, this guy has let me down today, I'm going to take him out of the team, because as a squad they've performed so well this season. Throw into Brighton down in front of us. Lamptey preparing to take it. Clock is ticking on a furious pace. There are just 10 minutes to go to half time, and Lamptey takes his time over this throw now. If you're just joining our coverage of 5 Live, just over a minute was played when Saka put the ball into the back of the net to give Arsenal the lead here. Brighton, after a rocky start, have grown into the match a bit more. They've threatened a little bit, but you would say Arsenal deserve their lead. Mitoma has it on the left-hand side. Takes on White. White just stood his ground there as Mitoma tried to go around him. Ball goes out for a throw into Brighton. No time wasting as it's immediately given to Gilmour. Now Caldwell has it back on the halfway line. Lamptey, right-hand side. Martinelli comes across to try and put a bit of pressure on him. This is Solly March. Zinchenko will not give him an inch. Just hounds him. Even when the ball was gone, there was a last little nibble from Zinchenko to say, I'm giving you no peace.
He certainly knows he's playing against someone.
The mentality as well, we mentioned the squad all playing well. Bringing in players like Gabriel Jesus and Zinchenko from City, players that Arteta knew before. Tony, we'll come back to this in a moment, because March is attacking, gives it to Trossard on the edge of the area. Now Gilmour, for a moment there might have been a chance to shoot, but Odegaard shadowed him well, and they've worked their way all the way along the edge of the penalty area here, from right to left. Brighton, they're just outside the penalty area, but Arsenal won't let them into the box. The point I was going to say is they've brought in players with that proven calibre of winning trophies, and that mentality has shone through.
It gives everybody a lift. If you're signing the players of that calibre, if they're walking through the door, it gives everybody a lift in that dressing room. One point I would like to mention, especially in the Premier League, there's so many one-footed players. They got time, they got great facilities. The opportunity and the chance to become better with your weaker foot is there. And now they don't spend more time doing or doing it and trying to get better. Martinelli I don't think he's touched the ball with his left foot, and I like him. I think he's a fabulous player. But he's one of them again. If he improved that, so he could go outside or he could come inside, which he does 99% of the time, what a change that would be then when he was playing against full-backs.
Rare mistake, just a small one from Arsenal. Xhaka's pass miscontrolled by Zinchenko. Brighton regained possession. We are in the 37th minute. Brighton and Hove Albion 0, Arsenal 1. Brighton have possession with the Stupian. 13th Premier League of the appearance of the season for him. Summersoni from Spain. Gilmour, who's in for the suspended Caicedo, gives it away here to Zinchenko. Now Martinelli, right-footed touch. Let's count them here. Let's see, does he use the left? No, a few right-footed touches, and the left winger gives it back to Gabriel. Gabriel wearing the number 6 receives possession back. Has Gabriel got that sort of stuff that the American footballers wear, the kind of black mark under his eye? Is that to do with floodlights, or is it something else? I'm not quite sure.
Not sure.
He appears to have something on his face.
You watch the runners now. Watch them.
Here is Nketiah. He's got options. Saka on the right-hand side. Odegaard over there too. Odegaard gets it. Edge of the penalty area. Pushes it out to White. Tries to send in the low cross, and it's blocked away by Estupiñán and out for the corner.
They had 4 players then threatening, the back line of Brighton, where they're trying to get in with one pass. And like I say, the rewards for doing that is just absolutely fantastic if you can do it on a regular basis.
Fans of Manchester City and Newcastle particularly will be cheering on Brighton to try and get back into this. Arsenal who have been sitting pretty on top of the Premier League throughout the World Cup break, and this is just their second game back in league action and a chance to extend that lead. Everyone wondering if the chasing pack would narrow the gap. Arsenal with the chance today to extend it to 7 points, and they've got their noses in front. Saka's preparing to take this corner. Right hand side of the pitch as Arsenal come forward, wearing the change strip. They're all in black tonight. Delivery comes in. Oh, it's a good delivery too. Gilmore's headed it out. Following up is Odegaard. Left-footed shot to the back of the net, and Arsenal ahead of half-time have doubled their lead, and there's a little basketball celebration from Martin Odegaard there. Arsenal are making this look easy now. Brighton 0, Arsenal 2.
That was a shot like mine when I played. It bobbled twice and then lobbed over the goalkeeper into the net. But Arsenal have deserved it. They've been very, very, very good for me. They play football, and they play football in the right way in respect of trying to get players in, shooting opportunities, crossing opportunities. The energy to run forward has been absolutely fantastic. Fantastic.
Martin Odegaard has scored more Premier League goals away from home this season than any other player in the top flight. He has been such an important part of the success that Mikel Arteta's team are enjoying.
I want to see the replay and see how many times when he hits it bobbles first and then loops into the net.
Well, that's what happens, isn't it? When you're top of the table, bobbles, schmobbles. Odegaard, who got an 89th minute goal against Brighton at the Emirates last season, and he has scored here to make it 2-0 with still 5 minutes to go to the break. Tony, in your day, you've frustrated Arsenal many occasions in the past. What can Brighton do to turn this? It just seems that Arsenal are just too strong.
Yeah, we used to enjoy playing Arsenal.
I got that impression, all right, yeah. I'm not sure the Arsenal fans enjoyed coming up against you.
Yeah, I've bumped into a load of them for a few years now, taking some stick.
Just a delay in play here, one of the Arsenal players is down again.
Just going back to the game, I think Brighton have had good possession at times, Connor, and they've played some good football, and they are a good side. I love watching them. I think they're an exciting team. But they've got to, if Arsenal are going to press this far up the pitch, then they've got to recognise and realise that the space is behind. And if they can get, a pass in and a pass back, and then get the third man, we used to call it third man running. If they can get third man runners, there's a lot of space to exploit. And I just don't think they've done it enough this half. Whereas when Arsenal have done it, every time Arsenal have gone through, they've either counter-attacked, they've got runners looking to get in behind all the time, and it just stretches the game. Takes the team back and leaves the space for you to play in front, or if the team stay there, you're playing balls and they're in on one-touch finishes.
Saka was the player who was down. He's back up on his feet, and the game is back underway. Brighton 0, Albion 0, Arsenal 2, 5 live in BBC Sounds. 5:30 kickoff on I'm actually hesitating, but it is a Saturday, I think. I'm never sure at this time of the year, but I think it is Saturday. There's possession with Estupiñán. Back to Colwill, and the task more difficult now than it has been for Brighton. It was always going to be a hard one today, but in this mood, Arsenal could put up a number here. Lallana tries to flick it on. It's not that Brighton have been dreadful or anything, but just Arsenal have looked a team top of the table.
Yeah. Brighton need the next goal, Connor. They need the next goal. I think if Arsenal score the next goal, then that is a long way back. But if they can nick another goal now, they'll still be in the game.
Arsenal have won 13 league titles, 3 of them in the Premier League era, but they haven't finished in the top 4 in the last 6 seasons. It's been the club's worst run since the 1970s, and there have been some worrying weeks for Mikel Arteta when he must have been questioning, is this going to work out for me here? But everyone's patience has been rewarded.
It's been absolutely fantastic that they've allowed him to manage. They've given him the opportunity to change the team round, and what a young team, what a great side, and an exciting side to watch.
And worth emphasising, and it's great, of course, to be Pep Guardiola's assistant, and there's no better way to learn the managerial game, but he had never been the top man himself before this job, Arteta. It's his first senior coaching role.
He's worked with some top people, though.
Yes, absolutely. So, Arteta, who still, to be fair to him, looks in the sort of shape he was in when he was a player, doesn't he? He hasn't got a absolute peck of weight in him. He's got the hair is the exact same as when he played.
Yeah.
He was a young manager.
He's on the same diet as Pep. Pep hasn't put any weight on, has he?
I thought you were going to say the same diet as you, Tony. Here is Lamptey, right-hand side for Brighton. Could they get one back ahead of half-time? Solly March with the cross into the penalty area, too high for Matoma, and Ben White says, that's fine, I'll duck away from that, and allows it to go out for a goal kick to Arsenal, away to our right-hand side. Mikel Arteta, who is the youngest permanent manager in the Premier League, he's only 40 years of age. But could this be his season? Could he be about to become a Premier League winning manager? There is a long way to go, but Arsenal are going about it in an incredibly impressive way so far.
What did Fergie say? You know, the championship doesn't start until round March. So let's see where they are then. But they are showing some great signs of having the consistency to stay there.
Starting today, Arsenal's next 4 games are against the last 4 teams to have beaten them in the Premier League. But, you know, if this does become 7 points today, Pep Guardiola's going to have to get his skates on. This is Lallana, pushes the ball in front of Gilmour. Gilmour was late there. Arsenal teammates aren't happy with that. Partey was fouled as he was falling off the pitch. Gilmour late into him. Partey stays down. And Arsenal teammates have come in to crowd around Gilmour and to crowd around the referee, and a yellow card is shown to the young Scotland international.
Yeah, he's caught him after the ball. Partey's played the ball out, and then Gilmour's come. Have you seen it? It's gone straight through him.
There will be 3 minutes to be added on for stoppages at the end of the first half. Because Partey had fallen off the pitch when he was hurt, there's no sort of reason for the officials to hold up play, so that always gets the player on a bit quicker. Partey's back on. He was caught by Gilmour there. And Roberto De Zerbi is facing a big team talk now to try and get his charges back into this one. A yellow card for, is it time wasting for Gabriel? Gabriel was shaking his head.
I think he said something to the linesman.
Right. I thought that he was going to take the free kick and he stepped away from it and Ramsdale came out. But anyway, either way, it is a yellow card for Gabriel, unnecessarily there. By the way, there are some players, actually there's only one who's on the field, Saliba, who if he was to get a yellow card here would miss the next game. He would miss the big one too, home match against Newcastle on the 3rd of January coming up. That'll be first against third as things stand. Lamptey played the ball off the face of Martinelli there. He could have lost it on the edge of his own penalty area. Dunk will chip it away, picking out Solly March. Brighton is still trying to play their way out of trouble here. And March can't keep the ball in play, and a bit of retribution, and a yellow card is going to be shown here. So we told you a moment ago that Gilmour was late on Partey, and Partey has just put that into his memory bank and didn't have to store it away for long, and has clattered into Lallana this time.
Yeah.
And that is a yellow card for Partey as he vents a bit of his frustration. So a first half that has flown along very cleanly, and suddenly a flurry of yellow cards late in the first half. We've got 3 minutes being added on for the stoppages. We've almost played 2 of those now, and the referee Anthony Taylor has come across and he's asked both coaches to come. It's like a boxing referee bringing 2 fighters into the middle of the ring. He's had a word with the 2 of them, and I think he's just saying, come on, let's keep this competitive but not spilling over. Yes, there are no seconds remaining now in this first half. A first half that Arsenal couldn't have started better. The early goal for Saka, and then Odegaard, not his prettiest goal he'll ever score, but a very important one to give Arsenal the cushion here. Rushed clearance out of defence from Brighton will return possession to Arsenal on the halfway line. Zinchenko with a very tightly cropped hairdo will take the throw. No urgency now for Arsenal with that 2-goal lead. Throws it into Martinelli. Gives it away rather easily. Matoma will pick it up and break into the Arsenal half. He's got support outside from Estupiñán. White is the defender in front of him. Estupiñán comes back in field again. This is Billy Gilmour, midway inside the half. Lamptey now. Is there time for one last throw at the dice for Brighton? Solly March takes his time, crossing position on the right hand side, wants to come infield of Nketiah. He's tripped himself up there. He tripped on the ball, Solly March. Ball goes out of play, and that'll probably be
yeah.
There's the whistle for the break. So Mikel Arteta, it was a good day already before this game kicked off. News that Manchester City and Newcastle had both dropped points, and it's a good day that's got even better through those 45 minutes. Saka's goal, Odegaard's goal, 2-0 to Arsenal, and they look every bit league leaders, Tony Pulis.
Yeah, it's been a really good watch for us. Arsenal, every time they've changed possession, turnovers, taking the ball off Brighton, have looked really dangerous on the break. They're runners, they've got good runners, they're very athletic, and they're really, really top footballers. It's been a good game.
Last month they met in the League Cup. Arsenal scored first and Brighton came back to win 3-1, but that was only a 1-goal deficit. Can Roberto De Zerbi's team come back in the second half here? That's coming up. For now, Brighton and Hove Albion 0, Arsenal 2. Thanks very much. Thanks to Robbie and Chris. We've got Brighton back out ahead of the second half here at the Amex Stadium, and here come the league leaders now. Arsenal in their black shirts, striding confidently down the tunnel, up onto the pitch, and they have the air about them of a team who are about to go 7 points clear at the top of the Premier League. It has all been very military precision from Arsenal so far. Saka's opener, Odegaard's second, and you feel, Tony, that if they needed to dig deep and get another gear, it would be there for Arsenal should they require it.
Yeah, but you never know. That sometimes the best thing that can happen to you is half-time. It breaks everything. It breaks the rhythm, the pattern of the game. Can Arsenal pick it up where they left off from? We'll have to wait and see. If they don't and Brighton nick the goal, we could have a game on. There
were 3 yellow cards in 2 minutes towards the end of the first half. Gilmour, Gabriel and Partey. We get back underway, no changes in personnel. Brighton Hove Albion in their blue and white striped shirts, the white shorts, white socks. They play from right to left as we look down. Arsenal have taken their change kit with them down to the south coast this evening, all in black. And Estupiñán rolls the ball back to Colwill. And back again to Sanchez, the Spanish goalkeeper, away to our right-hand side. Plenty Brighton fans slow to get back to their seats. They've been enjoying the chat, the half-time cup of tea, and maybe something stronger given the time of the year anyway. But this could go one of two ways. If Brighton could score early, we could be in for a real thrilling second half here. If Arsenal get the third, I think that is done and dusted. Throw in for White, midway inside the Brighton half, holds the ball above his head, no urgency, statuesque, waits, then throws it to Nketiah's chest. Back again to White, but Toma comes to put a bit of pressure, and Arsenal will retreat back into their own half against Saliba and to Gabriel. Now, I spoke to the Arsenal press officer over half-time. I'll tell you about that in a moment after the crossfield ball goes towards Martinelli. We mentioned the marking under the eye of Gabriel. The reason is it is a sort of bandage because he picked up a knock to his face in a friendly against Luton at the training ground earlier on this month. So while they were getting ready to the return of the Premier League, they played a friendly against Luton, and Gabriel picked up a knock to the face. That's the reason for that bandage underneath his eye. We mentioned in the first half we weren't sure what it was. Here is Odegaard up to the halfway line wearing the golden boots. Saka now takes it off him, back into Odegaard once again. Look at the space here for Partey. Brighton are carving. Brighton's defence being carved through by Arsenal here. Martinelli into the penalty area, left-footed shot. It's only parried, and Nketiah scores. That's far too easy. Nketiah makes it 3, and filling in for Gabriel Jesus, he produces the goods once again. 2 games back in the team, 2 goals for Nketiah, and 3-0 Arsenal lead.
My grandson's just turned around and said he used his left foot.
Martinelli.
It was absolutely fantastic play again, Connor. Absolutely fantastic. Through the pitch, they take the ball off Brighton, a couple of passes and they're through again, and yeah, like you say, it's going to be a long 45 or 40 odd minutes now for Brighton.
It's going to be a long 45 minutes for Brighton. It might be a long second half of the season for the rest of the Premier League as Arsenal say, catch us if you can. Martinelli using his left foot. We were laughing a bit in the first half how he was all right-footed. It was a left-footed shot that could only be parried by the goalkeeper Sanchez. And Nketiah, the poacher's position, fantastic. 2 yards out.
Yeah, fantastic. Give him great credit there for following in.
So
that is a goal scorer's goal.
Yes,
Connor.
Yes, that will give him as much joy as a streamer from 30 yards. And it's another goal in a start for Arsenal for Nketiah. That is now 7 goals in his last 9 Premier League starts. For the backup striker, those are very, very good numbers. And in the absence of Gabriel Jesus, Arsenal refused to be taken away from their stride, and Nketiah filling in so well. And that is another goal for him. Scored against Brighton in the League Cup last month. Scored against West Ham on Boxing Day, and now Nketiah scores again. Colwell, awkward back pass to Sanchez, but it got there, and the Spanish goalkeeper clears away. And again, poor old Roberto De Zerbi, 2 halves in a row now that his team have conceded right at the start, and it must compromise his team. He sends the team out in one mentality, and immediately everything's changed.
Yeah, that does kill you as a manager. It just changed the game again. You know, you're hoping and praying you can get a good start in the second half, maybe nick a goal, and then it's game on again. But them scoring again so early, like you say, Connor, it's most probably killed the game a little bit.
In this mood, Arsenal, well, who knows what they might rack up now in the second half. It might be a question of what their hunger and motivation is. Arsenal, who host Newcastle next, that is on Tuesday, a game that you can listen to live here on 5 Live. Then they've got Oxford away in the FA Cup, and that's followed by the North London derby against Tottenham. But they're in a groove. We've said it a few times. Mikel Arteta has got this Arsenal machine functioning at an optimum level at the moment, and their performance this season, it has been as good and at times better in terms of the results and the numbers and the points on the board. I mean, even the great Arsene Wenger invincible teams, they didn't win as many games to this point of the season as Mikel Arteta's side is doing. The future, it would appear, holds few bounds for Arsenal in this mood. Here comes Mitoma for Brighton, dribbling his way into the penalty area left-hand side, cutting back across, sits up for Pascal Gross, but his shot is blocked, and Arsenal get it away. And Arteta's team had so many defenders back crowding that penalty area. Even at 3-0 up, there's no let-up in the defensive commitments. Here comes Mitoma again. He could be the one to get Brighton some glimmer of hope, but he's crossed with the outside of the right boot is not good, and it sails over.
Connor, that's a great point you've just made about them being back there defending. Again, if you look at it, they're up the pitch together, they're back defending together. They just look a good team, and I mean team. A group of individuals, a very, very good group of individuals who play collectively like a very good team.
And again, and I ask this as a question more, not a statement to you, Tony, because you know an awful lot more about it than me. When your team is on a roll, when you're winning games, you probably don't have to demand that of the players. They probably do it more instinctively, I guess.
Well, everybody looks as though they're enjoying, their football, and that doesn't half help.
Here's Pascal Gross for Brighton. It's become a tough day at the Amex for the home team. Trossard turns well on the edge of the area, tried to scoop it, good idea for Gross, but it didn't come off his boot cleanly. He got more air than ball, and it was a flop shot and easily cleared away. Brighton get it back on the halfway line. Similar pattern to the first half, where they concede early, then they start to put a few passes together, but it feels like the horse is bolted. This is Billy Gilmour, who's making his first Premier League start for the club. Difficult circumstances today for Roberto De Zerbi, missing Moises Caicedo, who's been so important for them. He picked up 5 yellows and is suspended. Here's Lallana, here's Pascal Gross. That should have been 3-1. I was going to say for a corner, but it's actually offside. It wouldn't have counted anyway. Good movement, but it didn't hit the back of the net. Pascal Gross.
Brighton have got to keep going, Connor, just as professionals. And they are a good team. They've got some good players, and they've had a great season so far. They've just got to dig in there and try and stay with this team.
Arsenal had 10 players away at the World Cup. Brighton had 8, which I think is a real reflection of how their squad has blossomed in recent times. Here's Xhaka playing it out to Martinelli on the left-hand side. Martinelli involved in the build-up for the third goal. This time tackled by Tariq Lamptey. Tried to come in on his right again, and Lamptey was able to make the interception. And it will be an Arsenal throw, and Zinchenko almost showboating as he does keep-me-ups as he gets in position to take the throw in on the left-hand side. That's how comfortable Arsenal are at the moment. 3-0 in front. Saka, Odegaard and Nketiah with the goals.
Not a long throw from Arsenal, is it?
It's been prepared that way. Thomas Partey has wiped the ball. He is leaning back against the advertising boards. He's giving himself the longest run up he can. Here it comes, arched back, floated in, dunks header up in the air. I thought that was going to be a corner, but no, goal kick. So much must have come off one of the attackers in front of Dunk. Goal kick to Brighton.
I hope Arsene wasn't watching that.
Arsene Wenger, who was back at the Emirates on Boxing Day, which I believe was the first time he'd returned to the club since leaving, and The stadium which he was so instrumental, not just in building the team, but he was so involved in the creation of the stadium itself. Arsene Wenger, and there is talk now about the Wenger statue that they'll put up outside, which is absolutely well deserved. As Estupiñán goes down, tripped by Saka, and that is a yellow card for Bukayo Saka. Yellow card and a free kick to Brighton.
Anthony Taylor, it's New Year coming up. Let the lads off, let them just enjoy themselves.
Let old, what is it, be forgot, yeah. I mean, it's, no, that's not the way he's going. Anthony Taylor, he's given the yellow card. Free kick to Brighton. Pascal Gross is standing over it. Frustrated body language from Brighton. This is not how they wanted this game to go. No lack of endeavour, but the quality from their opponents is shone. Estupiñán leaves it for Gross. He must have touched it, because Gross is dribbling it forward now. And then he plays it to Estupiñán. It's all very convoluted. Low ball into the penalty area, cleared away by White. Not very far. Trossard picks it up. Now, can he weave into a shooting position? He can't get away from Saka. And Odegaard comes away with possession, supported by Nketiah, and the break is on here. He had to look up, but he couldn't release the pass, Nketiah. And then down he goes. Free kick to Brighton, foul by Gross.
I think Brighton will make a few changes now, Connor. I think they'll, a few people that need a rest over this period, most probably make changes. Now whether Arteta does the same or not, be interesting to see, because their players, they just look as though they're enjoying every minute of this game.
Eddie Nketiah with the goal here early in the second half. He's now scored on each of his last 3 starts for Arsenal, and he hasn't had many opportunities tonight. He'll be pleased to have poached that one when it came his way, set up by Martinelli. This is Zinchenko on the left-hand side. Plays it through for Martinelli, who might have been offside. No flag yet. Colwill wins the sprint anyway and touches it back to Sanchez. Sanchez clearance straight to Zinchenko. He should have done better there. Dunk tries to hold Arsenal up, but all he's doing is stemming the tide, because here come the league leaders again. Granit Xhaka on the left-hand side. Plays a 1-2 with Martinelli. And Arsenal really are toying with Brighton now. Gabriel, the away fans are cheering every pass here. Nketiah receives it back to the way he's playing. 10 yards inside the penalty area. Drifts out to the left wing. Back to Zinchenko. All those cheers in the background are an Arsenal completed pass. And then Solly March has had enough of that tiki-taka, and he goes through Zinchenko for a shortcut, and that's going to be a free kick to the visitors.
Arteta's going mad again. Is that because he's not booking him, or yeah, he is booking him?
Has been shown to show the Solly March.
I don't think I'll be too happy with Arteta. Every time there's a challenge on one of his players, he's putting his hand up. Although they should be booked. Look after his own team.
What was that an annoyance for you? Would your corner of your eye be attracted totally to opposition coaches and what they're saying to the fourth official?
Yeah, in a lot of ways, the bigger clubs rather than the clubs who are around you yourselves. Every challenge you put in or whatever, if it was misplaced or whatever, they'd be after you.
Free kick for Arsenal, taken by Odegaard. Dunk it up, but he couldn't dodge it. Good save by Sanchez. Sits up for Saliba, who puts it wide. Good save by the Brighton goalkeeper. That could have been 4-0. Free kick was played in. Dunk missed a header, and it rebounded off. I think it was Gabriel. It was Gabriel. That was a good save from Sanchez. Point blank range.
Yeah, I thought it just hit him, but he did move his arm out. Connor has made a good save.
So Arsenal almost going 4 goals still in front. That's how good they've been. Here's Mitoma on the left-hand side, trying to twist and turn against Benjamin White. Puts the ball in front of Pascal Gross, and Saliba's back there to put it out for a corner. Corner to Brighton on the left-hand side. Arsenal bring everyone back to defend it. Gross rolls it short to Mitoma. He'll now attack the penalty area, tries to take on Nketiah. Nketiah matches him stride for stride, and that's another corner. Same position out on that left-hand side for Brighton. Reminder of some of the games that are coming up over the next few days here on 5 Live. And we will bring you the Old Firm derby Monday at 12:30 lunchtime kickoff. Rangers against Celtic at Ibrox. Tuesday, Arsenal involved again. Arsenal hosts Newcastle. Wednesday, it's Crystal Palace against Tottenham. And then the corner comes in and it's held onto by Ramsdale at the front post. There was a low corner, but Ramsdale might have been cut out, recovered well to get down. bowls the ball out over arm to Zinchenko at left back, into Partey in the middle of the midfield. Partey just shrugs off Gross. Gross trips him. No, doesn't. Tackles him. Play on, says the referee. Good challenge. Here's Lallana. Mitoma. Back to Lallana once again. Good work by White to make an interception. Arsenal get it back with Odegaard. Pirouettes around 360 degrees and lays it off to Granit Xhaka.
How well has he played in possession? Absolutely fantastic.
What I love about Odegaard is when the ball's at his feet, he never looks at it. He's always head up looking to see what else is going on. He's got amazing radar, Martin Odegaard. This is Xhaka. Good radar here too, playing it out to the right hand side to Ben White, but just a little bit too far in front of him, and that goes out for a throw into Brighton, left full back position for them. Right, first changes of the game. Brighton are going to make a double swap and Arsenal are going to make one. So Tierney's coming on for Arsenal. Ferguson is going to come on. There's going to be two. Tomiyasu two. Tierney and Tomiyasu, two fullbacks, a right back and a left back coming on for Mikel Arteta. And Evan Ferguson and Sarmiento are going to come on. Jeremy Sarmiento, who played 3 games for Ecuador at the World Cup, did start to get Arsenal against Arsenal in the League Cup last month, and he will come on here. So we'll get to see who is coming off. Granit Xhaka is going off to allow Tierney's introduction, and this does feel like 7 points clear, 3 goals to the good. Start wrapping players up in cotton wool as Zinchenko is coming off. Tierney for Zinchenko, that makes more sense, not Xhaka. So Tierney will go in at left back, and the other change, we'll see Sarmiento coming on in place of Lallana. Jeremy Sarmiento goes into the midfield. It's a young looking midfield now. Gilmour and Sarmiento for Brighton. Pats on the back for Adam Lallana from the other substitutes for Brighton, but it's not been the host day here at all. Tomiyasu is on. Who's the other Arsenal player who went off? We'll confirm that in just a moment. But Trossard is the other guy who went off for Brighton. So 3-0 is the scoreline. Ben White was the other person. Yes, Tomiyasu has replaced White, so it's like for like with the 2 fullbacks, and Lallana and Trossard replaced by Sarmiento and Ferguson. This is 5 Live and BBC Sounds. It is a game that had an extra bit of spice attached to it after City and Newcastle dropped points earlier on today, and Arsenal have gone about this in a very no drama, no fuss kind of mindset. They're just getting the job done. An hour played, 3 goals to the good, 3 points it would appear on the way, and Arsenal are set to start 2023 7 points clear of the chasing pack. Here's Tierney, first touch for him since coming on at left back, gives it up to Martinelli, challenged from behind by Tariq Lamptey nearly winning the ball back, but Tierney cannons in again, and that's going to go out for a throw into Brighton, far side of the pitch for us.
A couple of good challenges over the far side.
2 balls on the pitch at the moment, so they'll have to bring play to a halt. One delayed, belatedly came back from the crowd. Tariq Lamptey today starting a Premier League game for the first time this season. He's a very good player, great pace to him.
He's done well today, Connor. He's done well. Real tough task as well against Martinelli. But he's done well, he's stuck to his task.
You can catch all the goals tonight, match of the day, from yesterday's games as well. BBC 2, 10 o'clock tonight, Chappers with Shearer and Danny Murphy. As Arsenal come in the attack into the penalty area on the left, Nketiah goes down. The defender was Dunk. Some of the Arsenal fans thought there might have been a shout for a penalty, but the player himself isn't making much of a song and dance about it. Just getting to see a replay there. Nketiah shouldering the ball on for himself to try and run onto. Striker playing in confidence now, but I don't think that was ever going to be a penalty.
No.
Arsenal, who topped their Europa League group, 5 wins from 6 games, into the last 16 now. That'll begin in February. They play Oxford in the FA Cup January the 9th. But the way things are going in the league, there is no doubt what the priority is going to be for Mikel Arteta going into this second half of the season.
When your club's on the front foot, as Arsenal are at the moment, every game that you play, people want to play in, Connor. Whether it's a cup game or a league game, and whatever team you pick, those players are usually up for it anyway because of the way the club is going. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did well in the cup as well.
Let's face it, this has not been an easy place for visiting teams to come to lately. Brighton have only lost 2 of their last 11 home league games, but Arsenal just making it look easy here today. Ball is out of play on the far side. If you're just joining our coverage, one-way traffic, Saka, Odegaard and Nketiah the goal scorers for league leaders Arsenal, thoroughly dominant here at the Amex Stadium. The final day of 2022, the final Premier League match of the calendar year, a year that in many respects has been Arsenal's. Manchester City won the title back in May, but if you look at the transformation from where they were New Year's Day a year ago to where they are now, that has been some shift from Mikel Arteta's. But Mitoma here wins the ball off Tomiyasu, battle the 2 Japanese players. And Brighton have already done a bit of transfer business ahead of the window opening up in January. And they attack here, and this is Mitoma, and he's in and he scores. Wonderfully executed. 3-1. Mitoma, who's been one of the brighter sparks for Brighton throughout the game, continues this really good run he's been on. 4 goals now in his last 4 club games. He's something special, this kid, and he took that really well.
That was a great goal. It was a great phase of play, all the way, 5 or 6 passes, all being played forward, and it's a great finish. Oh, are they looking at it again?
Are looking to see if he's offside. I'm not sure he is, by the way.
No.
Looking at it, we're seeing a freeze frame. Does Gabriel play him on? The game has not yet restarted. Mitoma, if he is going to be offside, it's going to be one of these by a atom of his kneecap that he will be offside.
I still think the lad's arm is out. Is that counted or
no?
not?
It has, it's from the shirt sleeve, the part that you can play the ball fairly.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's yeah.
I don't know. How the world's spinning round.
So, goal stands, good. Well, I think from a neutral's point of view, the game needed that. Brighton get one back. Let's see if they can build on it. Mitoma's goal stand. And look, from the angle we saw, he did look to be on. That's livened it up a little bit. Mitoma clashing there with Tomiyasu.
Arteta's starting to jump around a little bit more than where he was 5 minutes ago.
Brighton and Hove Albion 1, Arsenal 3. When they met in the League Cup last month, it finished 3-1, but it finished 3-1 to Brighton. They were able to eliminate Arsenal from that competition at the Emirates. Brighton themselves were knocked out by lower league opposition last week. Here is Mitoma, left-hand side, gives it to Estupiñán, level with the edge of the penalty area, running against Tomiyasu. There are 4 blue and white shirts waiting in the middle. Estupiñán's done well to get into a crossing position. Here it comes, hanging in there. Xhaka did well to jump and head it away. Arsenal get it out. Brighton regain possession in around the centre circle. Goals change the mood of games, and that Mitoma goal, it mightn't be enough to change the overall outcome, but it has certainly changed the mood now as Gross crosses from the left-hand side, didn't get a clean connection, and Tierney is able to clear it out for a
no, he was in a great position then to put a decent cross in, and that's what they've got to do in the final third. They've just got to be a little bit more careful with their final pass.
That goal is only the 5th goal that Arsenal have conceded away from home in the Premier League this season. I mean, we're into December. That is remarkable. Mitoma, left-hand side, gives it short to Colwill, back to Estupiñán, now into Billy Gilmore, number 27 on his back, rolls it to his right-hand side to the captain Lewis Dunk. Great ball in! Gross was sliding, but it came off his shin pad. That was a ball over the top which Gross scampered after, but he just had to stretch too far and he couldn't get the clean touch. Much better from Brighton.
Yeah, great pass from Dunk, great angled ball in behind the back 4, Arsenal's back 4. And unfortunately, as you said, he just couldn't get a strong enough touch on the ball.
Pascal Gross has been Brighton's joint second top scorer this season. He has scored as many goals this campaign already as he managed in the last 2 seasons combined. And that's another green shoot of recovery and shoot of encouragement maybe for Brighton as Saka tries to attack down the other end. Estupiñán holds him off and Anthony Taylor says no foul. Chance for Brighton to counter-attack. Solly March beaten to it by Kieran Tierney. Mikel Arteta made the change, taking off his 2 full-backs, and ever since then Arsenal's defence has been put under pressure. Here is Odegaard though, and if anyone can calm things down it should be him. Ooh, even he has got a mistake in his locker as he gives it away to Dunk.
Yeah, here we go.
Different game now, and Arsenal relieved they've got the 3 goals in the bank already. This is Xhaka, halfway line with the orange boots. Martinelli had made a good run outside him, but Xhaka, realising that Arsenal need a bit of possession here, turns and rolls it back to the defenders, and it's keep ball as Odegaard goes back to Ramsdale. But a more buoyant home crowd now. Brighton fans making a bit more noise. Mitoma stretches, he won't keep it in play, and Mikel Arteta controls it and then pretends to miscontrol it, so the ball just trickles behind him.
Brighton have stepped it up, man. The goal change games, and it certainly has changed Brighton's attitude, and to an extent Arsenal's attitude as well. And they've got to get back on the bike now and start pedalling a bit harder. I think they took their foot off the pedal a little bit, but they've got to start up again and do what they've been doing for the majority of the game.
Such is the quality in the Premier League. It's never really over till it's over. There's once you switch off, the opponent, no matter how poorly they're performing today, how far behind they are, they do have the quality to come back at you if you're not at it. Estupiñán's throw picks out Gilmour. Brighton will work their way up towards the halfway line. Brighton playing from right to left as we look down. Good run by Mitoma again. Ball over the top from Gilmour. Out comes Ramsdale to the edge of the penalty area. Good range of passing. Quarterback stuff there from Gilmour in it. Very nearly connected with Mitoma.
Great run from the lad. He's done well today, hasn't he? For Brighton. He's been shining light, really.
This has been his first campaign as part of the Brighton squad. He actually joined Brighton at the start of last season, but they had to send him out on loan to Switzerland. It's all Brighton at the moment. Here's Pascal Gross into the penalty area. Sarmiento goes around Gabriel. Oh, he pulled it back behind Solly March. Well, had that been into the path of March, we could be talking about 3-2. And then the alarm bells will be ringing for Mikel Arteta, but it's wonderfully open now as Odegaard releases Martinelli. Lamptey can't keep up. Martinelli scores! And that should put it beyond doubt now. It's 4-1.
You have a look at the pass, Connor.
Grease lightning of a counter-attack. And as Brighton became bold and brave and committed bodies forward, Arsenal pounce and hit them for 6 on the counter-attack. And it's Brighton 1, Arsenal 4.
You watch this pass, Odegaard's pass. It's absolutely top draw. It's just played into him. You watch it.
First time from midway inside his own half into the path of Martinelli, who still had work to do, but took it well.
Yeah, again, runners in behind. You know, they do it brilliantly. They get set-ups, they get people running in behind. Once you get behind back fours, you know, there's opportunities will arise, and they've done it again. You know, the 2 wide players for me have been absolutely fantastic.
Gabriel Martinelli's 7th Premier League goal of this season, and that makes this now his best scoring Premier League campaign of his career. It is a 4th goal for Arsenal, and we speak about the little margins. Had Gross, when he stretched there, made it 3-2, it might have been a whole different New Year's Eve here. However, that is the look of a team who are potential champions, the way Arsenal have gone now and turned the screw down the other end.
Well, Brighton had their best spell just before that goal. You know, they scored the goal, and they created 2 really good opportunities to score another one as well. But when you've got players in the team of that quality, the pace, you know, it's always difficult. It's always difficult because within seconds, you know, they can take the game away from you.
Just when they were building some momentum, the air has been let out of the balloon. For Brighton Hove Albion, they're like a kid who gets the remote control car for Christmas and then realises they don't have the batteries. It's just, terrible. 4-1 the scoreline, a game that Arsenal in truth have dominated. Credit to Brighton, now they haven't given up and they've kept their heads up and they've battled away, but 3-goal deficit once again. Sarmiento here tries to go around Tierney. Tierney is insistent that he didn't get the last touch there, and the official agrees with him, so no corner. Goal kick to Arsenal. And there is just over a quarter of an hour to play. If you missed the scoreline earlier on today, both Manchester City and Newcastle were playing at home today, and both were held to draws. Everton got a 1-1 draw at City. Leeds got a 0-0 draw at St James's Park. So this is set to be Arsenal's day, and that gap increasing to 7 points at the top of the table as long as there's no hiccup in the closing stages here for Mikel Arteta's team. He's about to make another change, and the Egyptian Mohamed El Neni is getting ready to come into the midfield. A player who has had a slow start to this season, but has played in the last, come on as a sub. This will be maybe 4 games in a row now that he'll have come on as a sub, El Neni, and he will come on in place of Thomas Partey. So El Neni in alongside Granit Xhaka, and Arsenal hoping to see this out now with no further furore. Still a very animated Mikel Arteta down there. He's prowling up and down. He's got that Pep Guardiola technique where he just loves wagging his fingers furiously quickly. And as I presume the players know what he means when he does that, Tony.
They're taking absolutely no notice at all. He used to be on the side shouting my head off, and they'd be nodding their heads, but just going in one ear and out of the other. But you get so emotional, you get so wound up within the game. You're so desperate for your club, for your team, your club, and everybody connected to it, for you to put on a good show and to win a game of football. And the two managers, you look at them, they're very, very passionate people.
Arsenal fans making the noise here at the Amex at the moment, away to our right hand side. They are a supporter base who've been put through the ringer in recent seasons. What became very almost taken for granted in that club, being in the top 4, being in title races season after season after season after season, and they've had a few years out of that limelight, and the supporters have taken a long time to adjust to that, but how quickly now they want to snap back into the groove of being one of the top dogs in the land again.
Well, they're going the right way about it.
This is Pascal Gross rolling the ball into Estupiñán near the halfway line. Brighton playing right to left as we look down. Matoma under pressure from Tomiyasu, feeds it into Billy Gilmore, and that will be Lewis Dunk to bring it into the Arsenal half now. Plays it over to the right hand side, and Solly March weaves onto his left boot, tries to chop back to his right. Tierney not giving up. As much as March tries to shake him off, Tierney stays, but March has done really well. He delivers in a low cross, and Sarmiento puts it just off target, and that is out for a goal kick to Arsenal away to our left hand side. Still Brighton 1, Arsenal 4.
Yeah, Brighton will keep going, I'm sure. I think they've got that mentality that they respect one another individually, and none of them will chuck it in. They'll all have a go.
So another change for the hosts, and Julio Enciso, the Paraguayan teenager, will come on in place of Solly March. Enciso, who started the win over Arsenal in the League Cup when these teams met last month. He's yet to start the Premier League game, Enciso, but this is his 3rd substitute appearance now in the top flight. He's a kid who scored a lot of goals in Paraguay, and obviously this is a very big step up now to come and try and do it in the Premier League, but they've got high hopes for him, 18 years of age.
Connor, before the game started, we looked at the teams, we looked at the players that Brighton were missing today, and we thought it'd be a difficult task for him. They have got some very, very good players. Hello.
Hang on, here's a chance, running through and scoring. It's Evan Ferguson. The substitute has stole his way into the penalty area, looked to be losing his balance, but kept that composure to nudge it in beyond Ramsdale, and Brighton refused to fully bow down. They get it back to 4-2 with still 13, 14 minutes to play. Not the best defending you've ever seen from Arsenal. That was careless from Saliba. He had plenty of opportunity, Tony, to get it away, and he didn't do so.
Yeah.
It came off his knee.
Oh, he's played him in. He actually gets an assist for that, Connor, I think. It's a long ball through the middle of the pitch. You're not expecting to score goals from that, especially with Arsenal's quality. But as you say, it's a mistake. Brighton have punished them. Game on again.
Right, well, if Brighton get one more, we'll all be on the edge of our seats.
I was going to say, before the game started, we knew it was going to be tough for Brighton, but they've still kept going. They've got really good spirit. You feel as though it's a good club with good attitude. The players have got a good attitude, and they'll keep going and going and going. They won't give up.
Ciso battles for it, but Arsenal get it away up to Martinelli, who just moves through the gears and accelerates away, and then eventually collides into Lewis Dunk, bounces off him, lands up on the ground, and The referee says that it's no foul. Play on.
Yeah, it's a good decision from the ref.
Roberto De Zerbi's more interested now. He's up on the edge of his technical area thinking, maybe. As Odegaard controls, and the flag is raised on the far side, and Mitoma, I think, had been offside as the earlier through ball went past. So, free kick to Arsenal.
Connor, we've got to give Brighton some credit here. You know, they haven't stopped. They played against a very, very good team. A team that has been on top for most of the game. And the Brighton lads just haven't stopped. They've kept going. And like I say, the spirit within the group to work hard for one another when you're up against it sometimes can be difficult. But they've lacked none of that tonight.
No, Brighton have had the most wins, most points, most goals scored than they've ever had in the history of the club after 15 games of a top flight season. And that doesn't happen by accident. This was always going to be one of their toughest home games of the season, to welcome the league leaders here. Brighton, who have got 2 away games in a row after this. They travel to Everton on Tuesday. Everton will be buoyant after drawing against Manchester City today. And then they go to Middlesbrough in the FA Cup on Saturday. And Brighton's next home game, well, it's not much easier than today. The visit of Liverpool here to the Amex. That's January the 14th.
Yeah, but it's Brighton Football Club. It's fantastic that they're hosting these great clubs. Absolutely fantastic. And the way you look at them, and you look at most probably Brentford as well. Their recruitment, those two clubs' recruitment, it has been absolutely
fantastic. Yeah. Here is Odegaard, runs into Pascal Gross. Gross has had a very good second half for Brighton. And the last touch comes off Nketiah, throw into Brighton down in front of us, and we're about to move into the final 10 minutes. Look at Mikel Arteta. He's got 10 yards outside his technical area. He's nearly on the pitch. Mikel Arteta furiously trying to get his point across. He does not want any late twist in this tale. Dunk on the edge of his own penalty area. Bray passes it through to Gilmour. They work through the Arsenal press. Lamptey on the right hand side. Still the belief, I haven't seen many Brighton fans heading for the exits, and there are New Year's Eve celebrations calling them, and I'm sure there's drinks to be had with loved ones, but they're staying here just in case. Lamptey can produce something here, down the right hand side, delivers in the cross, parried by Ramsdale. Good work by Enciso to pick it up on the edge of the area. Now Sarmiento, he turns. Arsenal have got a lot of players back, but Brighton continue. Great ball in, Ferguson stretches, couldn't get there. Ramsdale was rooted to his line. Ferguson stretching any touch at all. It would have been 4-3. Here comes the cross in from Estupiñán. That's too high, but it'll be kept alive. Just about kept alive out there. Good work by Sarmiento. And he tries to break his way into the penalty area, and it goes down, and the referee says no. And in fact he's going to book him for diving. He goes down the Ecuadorian on the edge of the penalty area, and Anthony Taylor says, no, you're not pulling the wool over my eyes like that. Free kick to Arsenal, yellow card to Sarmiento.
Connor, how far away was Ferguson then from making it 4-3?
Whisker. And maybe, just maybe, the likes of Manchester City, Newcastle, those teams behind Arsenal will be looking at the defensive performance in the second half and thinking, this Arsenal team, good as they are, there are some vulnerabilities.
Well, I think if you get in behind them, I think if you can get their back four or their back line turned around, then you'll create chances against them.
Enjoyable game. 6 goals on New Year's Eve here at the Amex. 4-2 Arsenal lead, having scored very early at the start of both halves. And El Neni has gone down, holding his right shin.
He has got caught there.
So a reminder again of what's coming up over the next few days here on 5 Live. We have got commentary of the Old Firm Derby coming up on Monday. We will have Arsenal involved again, their game against Newcastle, which is on Tuesday. We've got Crystal Palace against Tottenham on Wednesday. And then a big one on Thursday too at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea against Manchester City. All those games, commentary here on 5 Live from the BBC and the BBC Sounds app as well. Here comes Sarmiento to the midfield. He's been very bright since coming on. Ferguson to Enciso on the right hand side. Those 3 players, all substitutes, full bristling full of energy. Enciso to a shooting position, maybe. He turned Xhaka and then he ran back into him again, and that was a bit of naivety from the young Paraguayan. Lamptey helps him out though, wins it back again, low ball in, comes off Tierney. Arsenal haven't got it away yet. Xhaka's clearance is straight up into the air. Lamptey is one of the smallest players on the pitch, tries to challenge for it with Martinelli. Martinelli gets it down. What's he doing here? Very Brazilian-like, dribbling on the edge of his area and gives it back to the goalkeeper, with all his teammates just yelling at him to get it away. Saka puts pressure on Estupiñán, and the referee says play on, no foul. This is frantic, feels a bit like a cup tie at the moment. Lewis Dunk on the halfway line for Brighton, massively running out of time. 2 goals down. Gilmour to Estupiñán here on the left-hand side. Evan Ferguson's goal today, he's only 18 years of age. It makes him the youngest player to score against a team at the top of the Premier League since Wayne Rooney did it for Everton against Arsenal.
Is that right?
20 years ago. What about that? Well, so here is Lamptey, back to Billy Gilmour, 10 yards outside the penalty area, floats it in, Ferguson leaps again. He got up well, but he couldn't direct the header goal bound, and then Saliba puts a big boot in it and cannons the ball away downfield. Dunk will head it back to the goalkeeper, Robert Sanchez. Yeah, the fresh legs up front have really livened things up for Brighton. Sarmiento, Enciso and Ferguson.
Well, they've really put Arsenal on the back foot. Last 10 minutes, they're playing quicker football. As you said, Connor, they've got runners, and they look as though they might get another one.
Here is Gross, low to the feet of Matoma. Ferguson now Brighton's youngest ever Premier League goal scorer. Another little accolade for him today. Here is Lewis Dunk, being urged to shoot by the home fans. He's miles out. He wasn't so unsensible to try and shoot from there, but he does lose it on the edge of the area. Arsenal clear it away, and anywhere will do for Saliba. Roberto De Zerbi plays ball boy. No time to waste now for Brighton. The clock continues to tick on, just over 5 minutes of normal time to play. I think if there was about 20 minutes to go here, Arsenal will be very worried, but as it is, they should be all right. They've got that insulation. Cross comes in, comes off the top of Granit Xhaka's head very awkwardly and out for a corner. That should have been cleared away. Corner to Brighton. And Mikel Arteta's desperately trying to get another defender on here. He wants Rob Holding on the pitch. Not till after the corner, though. Doesn't want to make the change, defending the set piece. Gross is already in position and ready to take it. Short run up from Pascal Gross. Here it comes, in swinging. Ramsdale holds onto it. Just seemed to fumble for a second, but then grabbed it close to his chest, and he falls onto the ground, just to eat into the clock a little bit further. Brighton Hove Albion 2, Arsenal 4. This second goal for Brighton, and the 2 that they've got in the second half, giving a little bit more jeopardy, but in truth Arsenal on their way to a 7-point lead at the top of the Premier League as things stand. Long ball cleared away by Ramsdale, header won by Estupiñán, flicked on by Colwell. Pascal Gross on the halfway line. El Neni trying to get close to him. Brighton holding on to possession, and now Lewis Dunk will take it forward. Arsenal fall back into defensive formation. Matoma, good first time ball. A test for Tomiyasu, who does well with a sprint, but nothing fancy from the fullback. Puts it out for a throw into Brighton left wing position. Mikel Arteta's furious about something else there. He thought that should be... no, that was it. The ball's on the play. He wanted to make the substitution. He says, whoa, and make the change. And the fourth official now comes in. I think Arteta's realised that he screamed like a young maiden in a horror movie there at the fourth official. He sort of apologised for that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he said it wasn't me. It was someone behind me. I don't know who it was. It was someone behind me. He's just thrown someone under the bus.
Yeah. That's what the backroom staff are for, I think, Tony. Yeah. Right, the Arsenal change. We'll see Holding come on in place of Odegaard, he's been great.
He's been fantastic. Yeah.
So midfielder off, third central defender on. Arsenal looking to shut the door late on here. 5 Live and BBC Sounds. The final Premier League game of the year, and it's been entertaining here. But Arsenal look the business, and we keep wondering, will there be a little slip up? Maybe there will be at some stage, but not today. As we've got 3 minutes of normal time to go, and Arsenal have got the 2-goal lead. Here is Matoma taking on Saka. Saka lunges, takes him down. Free kick. Saka, who's already on a yellow, and the Brighton fans are waving imaginary red cards all over that corner of the stadium. And Saka's making himself scarce. Head down, walk away, say nothing.
I told you it was New Year's Eve.
It does feel, maybe, I mean, look, I don't think that's a sending off challenge, is it? But when you're on a yellow, you got to be careful. Yeah. Okay, free kick near the corner flag to be taken by Pascal Gross. 2 goals for Brighton. Could they get a third to have Arsenal skating on thin ice through the full time? High defensive line. Gross will try to play it in, comes in low. That's disappointing for him. Very low, and Nketiah clears it away, but surely for the cost of a corner. No, Nketiah puts it out for a throw instead. Brighton remain on the attack. Surely there's not enough time. 2 goals behind, 2 minutes to go. Mitoma, right-footed shot. Oh, it's 4-3! It's never over till it's over! And 2022 is not over yet. And with 90 seconds of normal time to play, Brighton 3, Arsenal 4. Mikel Arteta is pointing to his head and he's saying, calm down, everybody keep your cool. But none of the Brighton fans are. They think a big comeback is on the cards here. 4-3, and we've got a minute of regular time plus the stoppages to go.
Connor, what a crazy game this has been today. You think they're so comfortable, and then all of a sudden Brighton, and they have stepped up. They've been fantastic, Brighton, in respect of the effort and commitment. They've never said die in the game, and now they've got a chance. Or how long? Extra time? 5 minutes? 6 minutes? Are we going to get a World Cup 12 minutes?
Yeah, well, I would take it. I mean, Arsenal fans won't want to hear that. Oh, hang on. I regret to inform, purple has become the screen colour, and VAR are checking for a possible offside in the goal. It was scored by Mitoma. If it stands, it's his second of the game. Down there, Mikel Arteta has pointed to his arm. He thinks it was a handball, but the official line at the moment, what they're looking at is offside. Let's have a look at this again. I'm not sure. We've not seen a convincing replay there. If it was a handball, it's not a raised arm. Of course, a handball in the lead up to a goal is different rules, isn't it? No, hang on. It's not gonna stand. The goal doesn't stand. Wow. So it remains 4-2.
Where was that offside, or where was it?
It's been given for offside because that was look. The flag is raised now on the far side. It's been given for offside. I've not seen the replay that shows me an offside, so maybe it was something in the build-up. That's very interesting. 6 minutes to be at. Oh, if it had been 4-3 with the 6 minutes, you'd be loving it, Tony. I mean, no offence to us, who of course want to win this comfortably, but we like a bit of drama on New Year's Eve and 5 Live, and 4-2 sucks just a little bit of that drama out of proceedings. But look, presumably in the next break and play we'll get to see a replay of that. But offside is one of those, it's not an opinion, it's taken as fact, and that's why the referee doesn't have to come over and look at the monitor. You're either offside or you're not. And on the fourth official, who is Paul Tierney today, has decided that was off. Here comes Mitoma again. The heads aren't dropping. Down he goes in the penalty area. To be fair,
I think he slipped.
He did slip, and he didn't appeal. Play on. Pascal Gross tries to cross, comes off holding for a corner.
I don't think he tried to cheat or anything by getting a penalty. I think he genuinely slipped there, unfortunately.
He was trying to turn at very high speed on a wet pitch. So, corner to Brighton. In a parallel universe, it's 4-3, and this place is on a knife edge, but 4-2 it is. Pascal Gross plays it in towards the back post. Header up over the top, close. It was Lewis Dunk looking for his first of the season. And it sails over the top. He's got a couple against Arsenal in recent seasons, but couldn't keep that one down.
Well, for a team that was so comfortable, at 2 stages in the game, it's amazing how it changes, Connor, isn't it? That's why it's the greatest game in the world.
Absolutely.
And this is the greatest league in the world, because there's no other league where you'd see a team come back like this and keep fighting and keep going. And great credit to Brighton.
Yes, Roberto De Zerbi, he'll be hurt with the defeat if it does stay this way, but when he looks back he will see many positives, particularly from his youngsters who've refused to be daunted by the scoreline against them in the second half. And Brighton have had so much possession. I mean, I'm just thinking all the second half we're looking away to our left. It's been little breakaways for Arsenal, but Brighton have done well. Then again though, let's switch it around the other way and say that Arsenal, under a bit of stress in the second half, have held firm. Helped, mind you, by VAR. Here's Lamptey. Pulls it back to Sarmiento on the right-hand side. There are 4 Brighton players waiting in the middle. Sarmiento on a burst, tries to go beyond Tierney. Great turn. Tierney, though, doesn't give up. That's very good defending from the Scotland international. He looked to have been turned inside out by Sarmiento there, but he battled and got it back again and clears it away for his team.
The substitutions have definitely made a difference. There's definitely more legs, people prepared to run forward and run in behind. Yet there's Ferguson off again, trying to get in behind.
And is it harsh to say, Tony, have they made a difference from both respects? Have the Arsenal substitutes weakened their team?
I just think psychologically they scored the goal quickly after half time, and most probably, it was one of them where you take your foot off the pedal a little bit. And as we've just said, in this league you can't afford to do that. You've got to be relentless for the 90 odd minutes that you play.
The last 15 minutes of the game, Brighton have had 82% possession. 82% possession.
Yeah.
Here is Mitoma, just outside the penalty area, left-hand side, gives it back to Colwill, low to the feet of Billy Gilmore. Nketiah sprinting, trying to win the ball back for Arsenal here. We've played 3.5 minutes now of the 6 being added on. Surely Brighton can't get 2 from here. And Arsenal are on their way to a 7-point lead at the top. Sarmiento's shirt looked to be pulled there by Gabriel in the penalty area.
Yeah, that's definite.
But he didn't go down, and if you don't go down, you never get them. Ferguson shoots here, and it's saved by Ramsdale. Diving to his left, and he'll be slow to get back up to his feet now. Arsenal are almost there.
I'm just looking at Arteta. That's all he's saying is just get the ball forward. Push up, get the ball forward.
Cat on a hot tin roof down there, Mikel Arteta. Agitated. But he will say he is staying sharp, and he will stay this way through till May, when he hopes Arsenal will be presented with the Premier League trophy. It's going to be a very interesting second half to the season to see if the chasing pack can catch this Arsenal team, who have set the way right since August. They were out of the traps, and no one's been able to catch them or indeed get anywhere near them in this first half of the campaign. Colwill for Brighton, midway inside the Arsenal half. 4-2 Arsenal lead. Mitoma, careless touch, gives it away to Martinelli. Martinelli has scored a fine goal in this second half. Arsenal have needed a 2 for comfort. Here is Pascal Gross, just outside the penalty area. El Neni standing up to him. Saka back helping out the defence, and Arsenal clear it away through Rob Holding. Anywhere will do. Kicks it out into the technical area, into the arms of Mikel Arteta. Into the 6th minute now of the 6 being added on. Tony Pulis.
I've really enjoyed the game, Connor. For the last game of this year, it's been a fabulous game. I think Arsenal have shown their quality in lots of ways, but you have to give Brighton great credit for sticking in there. They've not given up. They've played some smashing football the last 20-25 minutes. They're very, very unfortunate not to have got the 3rd goal, I think, and then we would have been sat here biting our nails, never mind what Arteta might have been going through. But both sides have come out of this game with a lot of credit. They've both showed quality, resilience, and Arsenal have certainly got that real class.
6 minutes are up, and this will be the 6th time in the Premier League era that Arsenal will be top of the Premier League table at the turn of the year. They went on to win the title in 2002. They didn't, though, in 03, 08, 14 or 16. The target is to hold on till May, and Mikel Arteta's side will begin 2023 with a 7-point lead at the top. It is 5 league wins in a row now for Arsenal. They are looking strong. A 6th league defeat of the campaign for Brighton. It's their 2nd in a row here at home. But this final Premier League match of 22 has been won by Arsenal, and they remain comfortably top of the table. It's been great fun, Tony Pulis. Let's hope 2023 picks up the way 2022 has ended for us here.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic game of football. Goals, there's been real good play by both teams, and Arsenal go riding on and marching on. 7 points clear, still a long way to go, and it's still me fancy Man City. I think the depth of their squad is much stronger than Arsenal's, but Arsenal now got a chance of adding to this group.
6 goals here, few disallowed as well, all to be perused on Match of the Day later. BBC 2 from 10 o'clock with chappers Alan Shearer and Danny Murphy. But now on 5 Live, it's your turn to have your say on events up and down what has been a very exciting New Year's Eve so far, and we'll hand you over to Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage.